Hi there, I'm here with Kayleigh Greensmith. She came through our education programme. She took part in a racing to school day at Kempton. She's got a few questions for you today, Kayleigh. So first one's, had you considered a career in the racing industry before your racing to school day?
No, I used to be against racing. I didn't enjoy it. Never really had a racing background, so it just never come into my life until we did the day out. Got a bit more of an insight into the racing industry and what goes on, which changed my opinion, and that's how I got into it.
Brilliant. So I know your day was a few years back in 2014. What do you remember about the day? Do you remember what activities you got up to?
Yeah, so we started off with a tour around Kempton Park, and then they took us to the sauna room and the weighing room. We did a few maths-based activities in one of the rooms there, and we got to try on the racing silks. Got to see a few of the horses, and then we watched the race at the end of the day.
Lovely stuff. And we touched on it slightly, but what did you know about the industry before you went on a racing to school day? And how did that change your opinion?
I knew a lot of the negative stuff, so I only really saw a lot of the horses fall on TV. I had a lot of biased opinions when I was growing up, and obviously I was a young child, so I was easily influenced. But once I saw kind of what goes on behind the scenes, I had a different outlook on the industry. And decided I wanted to be a part of it. So I didn't really know too much. I had a bit of a closed mind to it. So got my mind opened.
Lovely stuff. So obviously that day was a success for you. You had a great time. So what happened after that day? What were your next steps?
So I come home and said to my mum, I want to work with racehorses. And she said, okay, fine, thinking it was just another job that I wanted to do and grow out of. But I'd always grown up with horses, so I was never short of a horse somewhere. And we moved to New Forest, and I got my own ponies, and I had riding lessons and learnt to ride some tricky ponies, and kept saying to my mum from the age of 9 all the way till 16, I want to work with racehorses, I want to work with racehorses. So that's what we aimed for.
Yeah, brilliant. So I know that you applied to the British Racing School. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I had a work experience week at Marcus Tregonin, and that gave me more of an insight, gave me a really good insight into what goes on. Got to ride some nice horses and look after some. And then I was still at school at this point, to which I was struggling in. So my mum pulled me out of school because I had a career lining up for me. I was still working at Marcus Tregonin's by this point. So we knew of a racing school, and so we applied for it. I went for my interview on the January, and then was at the racing school my course for the March.
Fantastic. And then what happened after that? You've obviously got a great job now. Could you tell us a little bit more about what your next steps were?
Yeah, so I finished my course. I was meant to go back to the previous yard, but I decided I wanted to give Newmarket a go. So that's where they found me, Charlie McBride's yard. And I've been here since, and he's helped me all the way.
Great. And what's your favourite part about working here?
My favourite part is the work riding, because there's always a lot of opportunities to do it. Even if you get it wrong, try again the next week. And I've had chance to ride and look after some really nice horses. One of them being Priscilla's Wish, who won 5 times in a row at Yarmouth last year. And my little 2-year-old Charming Whisper won 2nd time out in the Class 2 at Yarmouth as well this year. So I've had a pretty lucky streak.
Yeah, great. So lots of potential there. We'll be waiting to see what happens in the future with that one. So the last question is, do you have any advice for any young people who are maybe considering a career in horse racing?
I'd definitely say don't knock it until you try it. It's hard work. Some days it feels like there's more bad days than good days. Be prepared to work in all weather, because it's not a fair weather job. You're out in the cold, in the wet and the rain, and then you'll be out in quite hot weather sometimes, but it's really rewarding when you have nice horses and you see them win, which you've been riding them since perhaps when they were younger. But just work hard, show your trainer or your boss that you're happy to do the horrible jobs, that means cleaning tack or whatever. But yeah, just work hard, keep your head down, do your best. That's all you can do.
There's some really wise words. We sit here in our waterproofs on a very cold Newmarket day. Thank you so much, Kayleigh. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thanks for sharing your experience.
Okay, thank you.
Great. So we're here with Charlie McBride. He is the employer of Kayleigh Greensmith, who we just spoke to. Could you tell us a little bit about what it's like having Kayleigh working for you?
From my point of view, it's a pleasure to have Kayleigh working for me, because she's always here on time. She does her work very, very well. She's an improving rider, and she's a pleasure to have around the place.
Thank you very much.